Hello, welcome back to the Mobile Motorbike Mechanic channel. I'm Steve. Today we're heading off into Birmingham to go and fit a set of chain and sprockets on a Z1000SX. So we'll see you when we get there. We might get there eventually. Stuck on the M6 at the moment. Right folks, here we are with the Z1000SX. Old school members of the channel will remember this one. We did about a year ago, maybe 18 months. We did a brake caliper rebuild on the rear end on this one. And we also did an oil and filter change, so you can go back and watch those. We'll try and put a link in the description as well. But today, we're going to be doing chain and sprockets on this one. So we've got a brand new set of chain and sprockets, DID chain, JT sprockets. So let's get them on. Right. So first things first, I always start off with the front sprocket. I just do. I don't know why, I just do. Start at the front and work backwards. So let's get some gloves on because we're dealing with chains which are oily and horrible and messy. And we will get 8mm socket. Now, let's come down here. All my gear is soaking wet because we were out in the rain yesterday. It was an absolutely horrible day. Right, what are we doing? 10mm spanner. I've already cocked up. 10mm. Right, first things first, we need to take off the gear shift. So you can see there's a little mark on the end of the shift shaft that corresponds to where the split is. So we'll get that undone. Hopefully the audio quality is going to be good on this one because it's blowing an absolute gale today. So that's the reason why we've got a little furry thing on the microphone. Right, so with that out of the way, on this particular bike there is this gear shift slop eliminator doodad that we've got to take off. So we've got a couple of Allen bolts there and we'll whip that out of the way. They're 4mm, yeah they are. We didn't film it last week because the camera lady was working last week, so she wasn't able to come out with us. But last week I did a full service on this bike, including valve clearances. So a 24,000 mile service, and all 16 valve clearances needed to be adjusted. So that was a fun day. But unfortunately, you guys didn't get to see that because the camera lady wasn't available to film it. So remember to like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel, and maybe camera lady can give up her job and do this full time. Hey, there's the thing. Anyway, carrying on getting this cover off. We need to get to a bolt that's behind that part of the fairing there. And there's one bolt there as well. No, there's a bolt under here. Bugger, I'm going to have to take that bottom. Relax that bit of fairing off, right. As you can see, this bike is ridden in all weathers. So the customer rides this one to work and back all the time. Right, I'm going to have to get this panel off. Oh, that's a pain. In order to get this panel off, which is all of that, we need to take this panel off, which is all of that bit. So I'm going to get a pick, pop that little one out there, grab a pick a second, There she goes. Pop that one out. I need to get that one gone. Suddenly this turns into a bit of a big old mission. You think it's just a simple chain and sprockets, but to do chain and sprockets you've got to take the fairing off. It's like, what? Like, yeah. So, what a pain. Oh, hang on, there's a couple of bungs under here that you've got to pull off. Come on. Come on. There we go. And now we can slide it forward and remove it. Right, with that one gone, we can disconnect the indicator. Get him undone. Oh, we've just got to pull that one out of there as well. Hang on. You just want to... There we go. So all you're doing with that one is you're just squeezing those two bits together and then it will pop out the hole. So that's the indicator disconnected, and there's a sensor on the inside of the panel there as well that you've got to disconnect. So that's that bit done. Get this side panel off here. And people say, why does it take you 2 hours to do a chain and sprockets? This is why. Let's not lose that bit. And now we can pull that panel off. Come on. There we go. I'm getting really wet knees, look, from the wet pad. Ugh, it's horrible. Anyway, stop moaning, get going. There's just 3 more bolts and 2 clips, I think. We'll find out. There's 1, 2 at the front here, 2. Right, now up under here we've got some pins to come out, so if you go around that side and look up this way, there's one just there that needs to come undone, so push, clip and pull it out. Ta-da! That's one. We'll reset that, ready to go back in again. That. And then there's one right at the back here, which you can see. Right, and then we've got 2 down the bottom here on the chin of the fairing. So we've got 1 here and 1 underneath. So these are slightly bigger, but just as awkward. There's 1 and 1 underneath. Right, with all that lot loose, oh, bloody hell, it's just a question now of pulling the fairing off. Ta-da! 1 fairing panel gone. Right, with that panel gone, we can go through the sprocket cover there to that 8mm bolt. Get him out of the way. Ba-da-da-da-da. Get a little magnet on a stick. Yeah, he's coming out. He's loose. And we can do that one there as well. And that should be the 4 bolts for the sprocket cover gone. you go. Oop, that bolt's just fallen out. It's all right, we'll get him in a second. Yeah, just need to ease him out. There you go. Oop, there's that last bolt. Right. Yeah, inside of a sprocket cover. What more is there to say? Not a lot. Ugh. Chain and sprockets. So yes, we have to take all that off just to do that, just to get to that. Urgh, pain in the arse. Thank you, Mr. Kawasaki. Anyway. Next thing I like to do, I've just refitted the gear shift selector because I want to get that into a position where I can bend over the washer. I'm going to pop the bike in gear. That just stops it wobbling around, and we'll get a hammer and chisel and we'll just chisel that flat so we can take that nut off. Little chisel, I'm going to just start knocking this out the way. Just go steady with it. Now, there you go, that's out the way. We're all good. A word of warning with Kawasaki's, I've changed the chain sprockets on this bike once before. The last time I did it, I had to get the customer to help me because these sprocket nuts are done up ridiculously tight. Right, that's my standard breaker bar. Breaker bar, socket, put it in gear, stamp on the back brake. Couldn't undo it. Like, seriously, I couldn't undo it. So I had to get the customer to come out. He was sat on the bike on the back brake. I had this and I was bending this. I've got a scaffold pole for really, really stubborn nuts. I put a scaffold pole on this. It's a 2-foot scaffold pole. It bent the shit out of this and we only just got it undone. So, if you're doing this on your own, be prepared. Kawasaki sprocket nuts, ridiculously tight. Because of that lesson, I now have an ugga-dugga. That will make your life so much easier, but it is sort of 250 quid. Right, 27mm impact socket, because I know these are tight. Comes straight off. Trust me, if you're doing this a lot, get one of these. And then get rid of the safety washer as well. There you go. Safety washer gone. Leave it in the comments. Do you reuse these? I do. I don't have an issue with it. As long as you're bending them over and doing it properly, I don't have an issue with it. Reusing these safety washers. I know lots of other people who reuse them as well. But there we go. Right, front sprocket is ready to come off. So, let's get it gone. There's enough slack in this chain to get this off without doing anything else. There you go. And as you can see from that sprocket, that is munted. Look how wide the teeth are on that. Right, let's go get the new sprocket and we'll do a comparison. Brand new JT sprocket. Have a look at the teeth on that. It's brand new, straight out the box. Well, straight out the packet, straight out of the box. Can you spot the difference? Oh my God, yes. Like I say, that is, the old one is a JT, the new one's a JT. They're good kit. But yeah, like I say, this bike does get ridden a lot. So yeah, definitely that's a Ninja Death Star, that is. Bloody hell, that is absolutely buggered. He's had his money's worth out of that. So, we'll get the fucking tree out of it. Get this new one fitted. So, install is the reverse of removal. I'm just going to pop it on. Like I say, there's enough slack in the chain to get this on, or there should be, anyway. Oh no, there isn't. No, we're going to have to do a rear wheel adjustment. That shows you how worn that front sprocket was. We can't even get that on. Right, back end on these slightly different because you've got this big eccentric chain adjustment. So, oh, no, does help if we get the right Allen key. For some reason, all my Allen keys have gone rusty as hell because we were out in the rain all day yesterday. I might have mentioned that once or twice. I got really bloody wet. Anyway, undo the pinch bolt both sides. There we go. And now, I can't remember if we've got a big enough Allen key in this set. No, we haven't. Right, I'm going to get my other Allen keys. Hang on. Back with me other Allen keys. What size do we need? That's the one. And all we're going to do is we're just going to, it says just, and you saw how that went forward. That chain's now gone completely floppy. So what I can do, go back to the front. I've now got enough slack to fit the front sprocket. Yeah. Oh, plenty. Plenty, plenty, plenty. Come on, in you go. Let's just line it up, pop it on, job done. Right. Put the washer back on, refit the nut and spin it up. There we go. Right, last thing to do, get this safety washer bent over. As I say, I don't see the issue with reusing these, as long as you're sort of using a different bit of it, if you see what I'm saying. Other people might say differently, and that's fine. There you go. So that's all squashed up on the flat of the bolt, of the nut, so that prevents that from turning. And you can see where the old bit that we used previously was. That's the new bit. Right, with that complete, old sprocket in there, that can go in the bin. We'll get this cover back on again. It needs a little bit of a quick clean, that does. So we'll give that a quick clean, get it back on, and then we can go back to the back. Right, let's get this back in here. Slightly awkward. There we go. Right. As I say, this is a weird little, it's meant to give you more positive gear shifts. I've not got one on any of my bikes. Has anybody else got one of those on their bike? Leave it in the comments if you have, let me know what you think. Interesting little bit of gear. The old, in you go, you beggar. Right. You notice I never put a handle on anything. Don't go just wrangling, tightening stuff up unless you're 100% confident, because that way you don't break anything. And that one in there. Oh, he's not awkward at all, was he? No. Right. That's that one done up. That's that one done up. And then the two at the bottom. That one. It's when you look into a pot of fasteners like that and you go, oh, which one did I need? You need a good memory. There we go. Sorted. Right. Can we do like a magic clap and just put the fairing on? Save me doing it. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Right, 3, 2, 1. It's back on. Last thing to check, as soon as we've had the fairing off, we'll just make sure that the indicators are working, which they are. Indicator at the back's working, good. Because obviously, having the fairing panel off disconnected the indicator, you want to make sure that that's working. Right, to the back. Let's get that rear wheel out and get the chain replaced. Right, so here we are back at the back. First thing we need to do is remove this safety clip. So just like that, pop it out. There's one on the other side as well that we've got to take out. And then we need to undo that bolt there and the one on the other side. And that's the rear axle that's holding this bike in. I don't think we actually showed that on the caliper rebuild because we never took the rear wheel out. But anyway, let me get this clip out. Just like that. Very simple. And now I need to find the appropriate Allen key and we'll get the rear axle undone. That's the one. Right. Okay, that's not moving. Yeah, you see that one's moving. So I'm just going to park that against. Oh, there we go. Oh, she's tight. She is tight. Tight like a tiger. And that's one end of the axle removed. Right. To prepare for the other end of the axle to be removed, we're just going to knock the bike out of gear. I forgot about that. There we go. And I've just realised the eccentrics just moved round as well. So I need to push that back forward. There we go. That must have moved when we were trying to undo the axle. Right, now I can get the chain off. There you go. Chain's off to one side, so we're now ready to pull the axle out and drop the wheel off. Because you've obviously got to do that to get the rear sprocket to be replaced. Oh, he's not coming out. He is in there. Fucking trees. It's so windy today. Right, the axle is pretty much stuck in there, so I've just got an old drift here. I'm going to carefully just give it a few taps to get it moving. That's out far enough. Let's see if it's going to go. Yeah, it's going to go. Cool. Always handy having an old drift. You can see from the end of that, it's a bit mushroomed over. We've had it a long old while. I think that was like the very first ever socket set I bought. But there you go. Yeah. Anyway, that ain't ½ inch anymore. That's for sure. Right. It's the spindle out. I'm just gonna get that rear wheel to come out. Yeah. No, it's not going. Hang on. Stay there. Why aren't you moving? It's probably this back caliper. Yep, it's the rear caliper. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to... Oh, bloody hell. Just going to take off the rear caliper. And that will let the rear wheel come out far more easily. Well, it actually let the rear wheel come out, end off. So we'll just pop him out. And then get the caliper out of the way. Like I say, that'll let the back wheel come out then. It might just stay there. Right, let's give it a go. Support the back wheel with my foot. Pull the spindle out. And there we go. Now, you can take the back wheel completely away, do the rear sprocket, but if we pop around this side, we've got enough room now to get all 6 sprocket bolts undone, get that one off, get the other one on. So, as we've got enough room, I'm just going to do it here. All 6 of those are off, and then the sprocket should just lift away. Right, old sprocket, let's go get the new one. Holy shit. The gods are angry. Right, brand new JT sprocket. Whoop. That's the old one there. Now, just going to check to see. No, I can't even see the markings on it. I can see JT, but I can't see any other markings on it. But it should be the right one. So I'll throw that in there. Nice shiny new sprocket. Fucking leaves, man. Pop him on and get your 6 nuts back in place. Always start them off fingers so you know you're not cross threading them. That'll be a bad day because then your bike's knackered, you can't move it, you got to go to the shop and get a new stud, etc, etc. Pain in the ass. Done. All sorted. Just clean our socket out while we're there. Get all the shmoo out because it is pretty hanging. Right. Really starting to fight against this wind now. Anyway, rear sprocket done. Let's get the back wheel in and then we can do this chain. Right, back wheel's back in again. We haven't put the clips in yet. We haven't done any of this up. We haven't tightened the chain up or anything like that because we're going to get rid of that chain and put the new one on. So, first thing we need to do, find your rivet link. If your bike doesn't have a rivet link, then just select a link. Doesn't matter which one. But this one, we've got a rivet link. It'll be easier just to go through it. And what we're going to do, little handheld grinder, and we're just going to grind the end off that link. That's one done, one to go. There you go, that's both of them done. Then we've got the chain brake tool here. And all that's going to do is push that pin into these rivets and push them out. We just set it up. Dunk. As you can see, it's pushed the pin through. If you come around the back, you can see that it's pushed it out the back. But we don't need to go around the back just yet. Right, so with those two pushed in, if you look in between the two plates, you can get a screwdriver in there and with a bit of a bang, there you go, it's off. And that's your one plate, a couple of O-rings are in there, and the rest of it should just push out. Right, that's the chain broken, so we'll get the new chain, which is just behind me here, and we'll get that fitted in. New chain. Nice DID X-ring gold chain going on. Believe it or not, that is a DID X-ring gold on there. It doesn't look like it, but it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to link that new chain onto the old one with the old link. And what we're going to do is push that on there like that. And with the bike in neutral, we can slowly pull the old chain out and feed the new chain in. And if all goes well, this will just slide on in. I say if all goes well because if it doesn't go well, we've got to take the front sprocket cover back off again. And that means taking the fairing off, and that's yeah, don't go there. But yep, it's gone well because here comes the new chain. Stick the old chain on there so that don't blow away. And there is our new chain. Punk. Simple as that. We now need to fit our new rivet link. So you've got 4 O-rings. On a windy day like this, it's a pain in the arse to do, but what we want to do is to open up your packet of grease, splurge it out, and then I'm going to get your O-rings into that grease. Ooh. Come on, there's 3, there's number 4, right. Now, so with 2 of those O-rings onto your new rivet link. Get a good load of grease all around it. You can then, see you've got the 2 O-rings there, you can then fit that on your chain. Bonk. And then your 3rd and 4th O-ring go on there. Bum, 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 bum. And then your new, I don't know, side plate, fish plate, whatever you want to call it. Bum, 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 bum. That goes on there. Just like that. So what we now need to do is we get a little press tool and we need to press all of that together. Bum, 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 bum. So in order to press that together, I need to roll that down the bottom here to a nice clear area. I can fit my press tool and get that pressed together. Bit awkward, because we ain't got much room here with the old exhaust in the way, but it is what it is. Right. Right. It's the press tool in place. And then I just need to tighten it up. Really got no room to get my hand in it. Oh, very awkward. And it's still blowing a gale. Right. How's that looking? It's getting there. It's not quite there yet. Easiest way to tell is if you look from the back of the bike, you can see the width of that. That's a little bit wider. So we still need to press it down a little bit further. So we'll just have another quick go at that one. Now ideally what you don't want to do is over press it, because then you'll end up with a stiff link. So you can see that's still nice and supple and moving. But if we take it up to the back, we can see there it's all looking nice and uniform. So now we need to rivet those links, and to do that we use the same tool but the other way around. Right, so this tool can press, but it's also got a rivet function. So we just take the plate off, turn it around, and now you see in there we're in rivet mode. So let's get that back down the bottom again, line it up on a pin, and we can rivet the chain. Right, so just brought the tool up to the top so you guys can see on camera, but you can see the pin of the rivet head is actually on that pin there. So that's ready to wind up, and as it will go together, it will splay that rivet out. So let's just see if I can do it here to show you. As that goes together. That's done up. That one's done up. Right. Let's just get this off, and hopefully you can see. Yeah, that's not really worked. It has worked. Right. There you go. And from this angle now, you can see that's splayed out. So that's riveted. That has not been riveted yet. So that's good. That one's bad. We'll do that one and then we're done. Right, that's it all done. So you can see both of those rivets now. Oh, I think one's gone. Ugh, black finger. Yeah, both of those rivets are now splayed out. So we are happy that that chain is all pressed and good to go. Right, so the last thing to do is adjust the chain tension. Well, actually, I'm going to clear up all this bloody mess first and maybe get myself a new pair of gloves. Right, so that's the rear wheel adjusted and Our chain tension is correct, and a hell of a lot smoother. No nasty noises coming from the front sprocket. We didn't show you that actually at the start of the video, but there was some nasty noises coming from the front sprocket. And the last thing we want to check on this bike in particular, it's got a Scott oiler. So just making sure that's all lined up and is going to deliver Scott oil to the edge of the chain, which that one is. Right, now we've got the rear wheel back in. Quick safety tip, always remember to pump the rear brake back up again, because your caliper, when you've taken the caliper off, that will have spread the pads out. So we need to pump those back in again. So always remember to give that a little pump just to bring those pads back together again. Right folks, that's this one all done. So brand new set of chain and sprockets fitted. I've got a black finger. Yeah, thank you ever so much to 12,000 subscribers and counting. Massively blown away by that. Thank you ever so much. It's down to you guys that grow the channel, that help us do the content and keep the videos coming. So really impressed with 12,000 people plus liking and subscribing. If you're not subscribed, please feel free to do so. It's completely free. You'll get notifications, and you know, if your bike comes along, we'll be sure to do some work on it. So yeah, anyway, remember to like, remember to comment, remember to subscribe, and we'll see you again on the next video.